At just 14 years old, Marta Mansito is already a global force in Optimist racing, holding multiple world titles, including the Optimist World Championship, the Nations Cup, and the Team Racing World Championship. And she's especially known for her exceptional speed and confidence in strong winds. So that's certainly one of the topics that we'll be asking Marta about. We'll also be speaking to her coach, Juan Curbelo, and we'll be diving into specific boat handling techniques, mental strategies, and any practical advice for turning survival sailing into podium finishes. Well, hello, my name is Andy Rice. I'm one half of the original founding partnership of Road to Gold, which we launched just over 4 years ago. I'm a sailing journalist from the UK, currently in California on SailGP reporting duty. And my partner in putting together Road to Gold and the original brains behind it, it's been more than 40 years in the making and the developing. Hamish Wilcox in New Zealand. So we're on opposite sides of the Pacific Ocean today. Hamish, how are you doing?
Yes, good morning, everyone. And yeah, thanks for coming on, Marta. I'm really excited about this call.
And Hamish, just to give us a bit of context, you won three 470 world titles among many other things. You're a much in demand coach, helping Spain win SailGP last year, helping Spain win the Olympic gold medal in the 49er, as well as coaching with Luna Rossa at the America's Cup last year. But you also have some background in the Optimist as well. So just remind us of what you did with the Kiwis those years back.
Yeah, no, I was dragged into the Optimist coaching, which I've got to say I really enjoyed, through my son and my daughter. And yeah, eventually I went along to three world championships. In the second, we had the first one in Las Palmas and Gran Canaria, and the second one was in Ecuador. And in that one, we had a second and a fourth in there, and we won the overall nations, which was really good for New Zealand. In those times, we were pretty happy with that result.
Excellent. Well, Hamish and I have been working on Road to Gold for a little bit more than 4 years. But we were approached by Pablo and Ton to put together a Road to Gold Optimist edition, which we were extremely happy for them to go ahead and develop. And I will go to Pablo next. Pablo, you've been working hard on this, and the call that we're on today is part of the building towards the launch of Road to Gold Optimist edition. So, Pablo, maybe you can introduce yourself and Ton Torn.
Hi, yes, so I'm Pablo. I'm a youth sailor. I sailed Optis for 20s and now I'm sailing for 70 a month. And I've been coaching on and off lots of time in my career, either as a part-time job or just to teach people in my club and help out those around me. And I met Ton last year in Torrevieja Optimist Trophy, and we became to know each other. And then I presented him the idea of doing an online course after he had won with Henrik the Worlds, and he also wanted to share his knowledge. And we're here now up to date, finishing the course. We've now opened the beta testing, which is what we've called to the initial program. And we're just trying to put the pieces together and make the best program we can for both sailors and coaches. And that's the initial 1.0 version we have now. And we can maybe lead it to Ton and see what he thinks about the program.
Yes, hello everyone. This is Tom. I'm now here calling from Flensburg in Germany, but I am a Swedish coach normally at the World Championship. I partnered here with Pablo in order to share my knowledge of the Optimist class. I think one of the things that top sailors have to challenge themselves with when they grow as sailors is to balance the input from many different sources, especially different coaches. So we wanted to create this platform so that everyone can have access to these different materials from many different coaches. So we will have all the input from me, my videos and my video library, but we also hope to share knowledge from many other coaches as well. Back to you, Pablo.
Yes, so we can maybe now lead it to Marta, which is the star of the call, and we can maybe get it rolling with Juan and her about the strong wind techniques. I know from starters I raced 2 nationals in Gran Canaria, and it's a windy place, the windy islands, Lanzarote and Tenerife also for sure. So we can maybe start there. How has your Opti-sailing's career started there?
Well, I started sailing in Tenerife, but then I had a bad year and I had to change my club and I went to Gran Canaria. Then I started going to international regattas with them. My coaches were new, but they helped me a lot. So I started improving and going and knowing a lot of people from other countries. I started improving a lot, and then it came team trials, and I did a very good performance and catch what I wanted to do, and I classified to the worlds. And then I had a very long preparation and Happy, which was my coach, helped me a lot and make me improve in strong winds.
Okay, and what's your opinion, Juan? What's your take on the conditions or on Gran Canaria or on how it has affected Marta's training?
Well, I think that Marta came to our club with a really strong base. I mean, she was in 2021, I think,
22.
Spanish champion under 13. So she was already a really good sailor. But I think that we had a really strong team, not only Marta, but another good sailors. So any training is a challenge. Anyone wants to beat each other, and competition in the training is I think really a key point on an athlete to get to improve every day you go in the water.
And how many sailors are in the club? Because I've heard it's quite a big club.
Yeah, more or less between 70 to 90, because September is the moment you get all the new sailors in the school from the summer camp. So that's crazy because the club is really full. And for example, this past weekend, we finished the trials for the national team. So those kids that are in the last year of Optimist, they left the class, and maybe now is the moment where we have around 70 sailors in the club.
70 Opti sailors, that's like enough to do fleet racing. It's just in the club, right?
Yeah, but I mean, 70 means from the top team where Marta sails to the little boys and girls that started last summer.
Okay. And we can maybe now move on to like the focus of the call, which is strong winds. What has your priorities been, Marta, on strong winds, or how did you improve to, for example, win the 2 races in Valencia? How did you get there?
Especially in Valencia, I think that it was a quite difficult regatta because there were a lot of waves and it was very technical. But I think in these conditions, I do great, sorry. And in Valencia, there was a lot of guys that were very good, on the top of the world nowadays. And also in golf fleet, it was very difficult, and I wish we had done more races last day. But I think the most important part of that regatta was to keep focus on my speed, because many people couldn't keep the speed with that wave, and couldn't support that you didn't have the I don't know how to explain the force to keep pushing. And I think most people didn't keep pushing a lot in the races. So for me, that I have trained a lot in strong winds, and I suffer, and I like to suffer, is that conditions help me a lot. And it's very important for me to keep pushing in each wave, and also don't you have to remember the strategy, and also keep reminding the tactics. Sorry, my English is not very good, but I try to explain the best I can.
It's going great, Marta. It's going great. So basically, you're saying that your priorities are your self-talk to keep pushing and suffering, and then to have the big picture clear, like the strategy, like not start tacking around or messing around, like going, if you want to go to one corner, go to one corner, and remember what's the strategy, right?
Yes, exactly. Because
And
many people with that condition, like they only focus on going to the first mark, but they don't remember the thing that you have to minimize the tax, because with that win you lost a lot, and many people don't remember that part, and I think it's very important.
okay, and what were you doing? What were you thinking technically to make the boat go fast with those waves?
For me, that I'm in 50 kilos now. With that condition, I always prioritize to, when I pass the wave, I have to keep going. And for me, that I am 50 kilos, I can push like a little bit more, and go a little bit up with the wave. And in Opti Orange, it was quite technically, because you could gain a lot with each wave, and I think in most of the regattas, I I catch a lot to the other people because of that, because of the waves. And also, if you're a little bit not like heavier like me, um, if you go with a very strong wind and a lot of wave, you have to keep you have to keep the flow on the sail. And also, I also had to depower the sail. That is more important, that also more important to pass the waves. You have to trim the sail well, because that is very important. And I also, with that condition, I have to depower my sail. So we have to remember that, because it's a nice part of my work.
Okay, and you've spoken mostly about now that you were 50 kilos, but maybe Juan could help us here. What was she doing when she was a bit lighter? And was it working out, or was there anything she could have done to be a bit faster?
Well, as Marta has said, she likes to suffer. So when she was lighter, probably she did a much bigger effort to keep the boat fast, and use a lot the bailers. I mean, I have tons of pictures of Marta using the bailers, sailing like more than half an upwind with the bailers, taking out the water, and keeping the boat flat. And yeah, and also I think that one thing that talks about Marta is she's very clever, she's smart, She minimizes maneuvers and she avoids the conflicts. Sailing is a pretty complicated sport, so keeping it simple is a really important tool for a sailor.
Okay, so that's a nice tip that you gave us there, using the bailer just to get your arm a bit out and help us get the boat flatter. We could maybe get Ton to speak about what Henrik was doing in strong winds, because he was quite light on the last year, and we could maybe get a bit of input from him if he's available.
Yes, of course. I think Henrik was actually not that light the last year, but if you look at the second last year, he was around 41, 42 kilos and still very strong in strong wind. And he used a technique I call the gliding technique, when you try to steer a lot in the waves. And it's mostly about which angle that you're using when you hit the wave. So you have to have the correct angle towards the wave and also the wind. And then I'm not sure now, but this is a question I would like to ask Marta, and that's what type of techniques she has learned during her career, because often when you go from the club level, maybe you learn one type of technique, and then when you go out globally, you can have different coaches. And I know, Marta, you have been with Happy. Did you change your technique over time
Yes,
as you got older?
when I changed my club, it also improved my technique. But the thing is, when I started going with Happy, he made me improve not only because of the technique, but he told me a lot of things that for example, in middle winds, he thinks that the weight is important, but when it's light winds and there is no waves, it doesn't matter the weight. Everyone goes like at the same speed if they work the technique. He told me a very important part of the technique, that was using my body well and correctly, and then when it's middle winds and I don't have to push a lot my body, maybe I go a little bit inside and then work much more with the rudder and also with the main sheet. But Happy told me a lot of things in a very short time, and he also told me a lot of discipline, that I think that is a more important part. But for the technique, he told me a lot of things also in strong winds. But for me, that is quite more difficult in middle winds, because my body or my weight doesn't help me a lot. Then I think in that conditions is where my technique and my level makes a difference with everyone.
We also have a question here from Bernard, who's asking you about something you said earlier about using your body to push the boat on top of the wave. He's asking if it's like mentally you mean pushing, or are you actually doing some kind of movement with your body? And yeah, how are you doing it? Are you using your hips, or is it the upper body that you're using?
No, the thing is, I meant like when you're on top of the wave, the sail is with much more power, so you have to push the boat more. But I was talking about when you're on top of the wave, you have to go outside more than ever. And maybe I do is like, if the wave is very heavy, I also release main sheet to don't have much more power on the sail, and then I recover that power that I have lost with my body, and I move it outside. So I release main sheet, and then with my body I overpower the difference.
Thank you. So we have Bernard here. Maybe we can get Bernard here to ask you if there were any follow-up questions to this topic. Bernard?
Where do I type?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So I'm here with Paul, my oldest, and Maxime, my youngest, and we're following from Belgium. It's very nice, this initiative. Thank you very much. So yeah, Paul was also there in Valencia competing, and he's weighing about 36 or 37 kilos. So it was very hard with the waves, and so we weren't quite sure whether we should first lift maybe the center board to have less pressure, or should we lose the sprit a bit? So it's very hard to find the right balance because, yeah, so we're hoping to get some tips from you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, what I think honestly is for people that are not like way like me, it's very important to trim the sail well. I mean, like you have to overpower, like depower the sail with a sprit, and it's very important to trim good the sail, but also it depends a lot if the child or the guy does push the boat, because not everyone has the same fitness. I mean, but it's very important for me to people that doesn't weigh much more. You have to depower very good the sail, and also if it is very very heavy conditions and with a lot of waves, you have to lift the center bar up. But what I said is very important also to depower the sail.
Yeah, and the hiking technique, yeah, I guess.
Yes, of course,
Yes.
and the hiking technique. But it's what I said, that it depends on the capacity of the child of hiking. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any other questions regarding upwind, or we could maybe move to the more fun downwinds? You have one? Martin has a question. Can you maybe unmute yourself, Martin?
Hello. Think I was also in Opti Orange, and I had one difficult because when the waves were really big, with really not a really less time between waves, it was difficult to have the time to take water out, and in the seconds next to have the time to let go the thing to take the water, and release the sail and trim more. Thank you.
Okay, the thing is, in Opti Orange, it was also quite difficult because, like you said, the waves were very, very near. So in that conditions, it's better to slow a little bit down. Maybe you release main sheet, maybe in a short time, like you release and then recover, release and then recover. Is in a very short period, and you do like that if also, only for the power a little bit the sail, and then to have time to bail again. So you have to do these things that I am saying with the correct timing, because if one wave comes and you're not prepared, it doesn't matter if you have the bailer in the hand or not. You have to do all with good timing. So it comes the wave, you release, then you catch the bailer, and you only do like you only got out the water, only two bailers, then you take out the water and you again you catch up the sail. Then again you release and then catch go push down the water. Then again, and it's very important to have time a very good timing, so you can gain and don't have much more water in your boat.
Thank
And now we have Joaquin, who's also asking a question. Could you maybe join us, Joaquin, to ask it?
Hi.
Hello, Joaquin.
I'm just asking because in Porto, when there's wind, I don't know if the boom jack, the kicker, is good. How do I know when the kicker is in good tension?
Una pregunta, Pablo. Kicker, ¿qué era?
Tapa.
Vale. So can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I don't know when the kicker is with good tension, if it's too tight or too loose.
But are you asking for strong winds?
Yes, strong wind.
Okay, when it's very heavy conditions, for me it's very important to have the say good trim. So the kicker is a very important part. So if you want to know if the kicker is good or not, you have to also look at the spread, because the kicker and the spread are the most important part of the sail trimming in strong winds. But you have to look at the laugh tension, because it's very important. And if it's very, very, very heavy strong winds, you cannot even put a finger in it, because it's very, 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 I don't know how to explain, very, ¿cómo se dice casado? Que está muy casado.
Tense.
Tight.
Because it's very tense. So if you want to know if it's good or not, you have to put kicker, a lot of kicker. Maybe you have to lose spread, and then prove if one finger does fit in the left tension. If it is right, you cannot put a finger in it.
Okay.
Do you
Thank
understand?
you. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And I think Hamish wanted to ask now about the mindset. Maybe you could lead the question, Hamish, and say, what do you want to know specifically?
Yeah, really informative. I'm wondering about how you get into the mindset you want for strong winds. How does it start in the morning for you when you know it's going to be, or even the night before, when you know it's going to be windy and wavy and it's potentially kite survival conditions? Just maybe just dig in a little bit to that, and also what happens before the start when you're preparing finally for the day, for that race. And then I guess there's more than one race a day. Take us through the day, and how do you actually fuel yourself and fuel your mind, give yourself enough energy to keep going all the way to the end of the day.
Okay, so if I know I'm going to have a very strong wind next day, for me it's very important to rest good, to eat good, but in meaning of mindset, I just know I'm going to suffer like everyone. Everyone is going to suffer, and I'm just it sounds bad, but I like to suffer. So I go into the morning, and I know it's going to be a very hard day, maybe a long day. So I try to get the best, to eat the best in the morning. But what I said, it's very important for me to be in the morning with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to suffer. Everyone is going to suffer. I'm going to push a lot because I want to win. I have to suffer if I want to win. And that is my mindset, because for strong winds, many people doesn't like to suffer. And more I saw in Opti Orange, that like there were very much more people with that doesn't wait a lot, and they seem like they didn't want to suffer, and it was weird because I haven't seen that a lot in my life, and in Opti Orange I saw it a lot, and it is very important to remind that everyone is going to suffer, and if you want to win, that's what you're going to do, suffer.
I think we could. I was speaking with Juan about this before the call, that you said Marta is a natural fighter. Is there anything else that you want to add about Marta's mindset, or did she describe herself well enough?
Yes, I told before that that she was really smart and she was really strong, and again, every minute of training for Marta is life or death issue. So the moment that someone 14 years old takes a ferry every weekend to come from Tenerife to sail in Gran Canaria, I mean, it's a lot. She is not seeing her friends or living a normal life. So she has a responsibility, and she take it very, very serious. So every training she does the 100%, and that's a really a mindset that only Olympic athletes have. So I think that the way she train is the way she compete, and that's another thing that most Opti sailors doesn't understand, that you compete as well as you train. If you don't train well, you are not gonna compete really well. So that thing is really one of the keys of the success of Marta.
Yeah, it's impacting and a nice story. The getting the ferry every day shows her motivation and her determination to win.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And not only Marta, I mean, it's all the family, his father's, his brother Leo. It's a family effort that is paying a lot now.
Nice.
To
yeah,
me, I just want to finish that question. Do you find, Marta, at any stage in your career you had to overcome fear in strong winds, or not just fear, but sailing defensively when you should be attacking, sailing defensively because you're a little bit scared? So how does fear? How did you overcome this through your learning process?
When I was little, I honestly didn't like strong wind, like everyone, I think. But I had a very serious coach that pushed me a lot in that way. He was always telling me that I had to hike. The hike is like hike or die, and I was with my partners my team, and I don't know in which moment I overcome that fear, because I think every child have that in Optimist. But I think because of the time then, to one day to another, then I didn't have that fear because I had trained a lot that win, that I didn't have that fear. So I think the key was working on the things that I didn't like. Don't improving in the things that I'm also good, just improving in the things that I don't like.
Nice, perfect answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the polishing the other side of the vase, right, Hamish?
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought the mindset thing with the fear is a really good, you know, how you got through that. Exactly. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice. Now we have a few questions piling up. We could maybe go on with Steve if he could join us. And then we have Sofia, another one from Bernard and Nuno. If you could guys get ready to ask your questions. We can go one by one.
I was just wondering what, like, you ate in the middle of the day or during the day.
No entendí la pregunta.
¿Qué comes durante los días de
No.
regata?
In the morning, I try to eat a lot of fruit. Then to drink a lot of water. Honestly, I think for me it's very difficult to drink water because sometimes I don't remember to drink water, but it's a great point to highlight. Also, when I'm on the water, I eat a lot of, how do you say, barritas energéticas?
Energy bars.
Yeah, I also eat energy bars, but a lot of water. That's the key, I think. A lot of water.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we have Sofia.
Hi, I also have a question. I really admire your approach, and it's I'm really impressed by your approach, how much you want to push. But I was wondering, you and Juan, how do you manage with sometimes a bit worse race that can happen during any day, windy or not windy? And how do you as a team manage a bit worse day, bit worse race? Maybe in between the races, do you have anything that you do that helps you move on to another race or another day?
¿Hablas tú o hablo yo?
Como quiera.
Vale. Habla tú.
Okay, so I think the conversation is different if we have to talk between races. Between races, we only focus on future. I mean, in the next race, we can talk about the mistakes that happened, but it doesn't make much sense. We just retrim the sail if it doesn't worked, and just focus on what's happening in the race, what's happening in the race course, what is changing, and maybe is the tide, maybe is the wave, maybe the position of the marks or the race committee, and just focus on the future, which is the next race. Only matters the next race. But after a bad day, it's the moment when you need to get relaxed, let a couple of hours to clear your mind, and then a lot of talking with your coach, trying to remember where were the mistakes, what will you do to change it in the next occasion, and trying to, I think that writing the mistakes or writing what was happening in the race helps to remember in a moment of tension in the next race that is happening the same. So as we are talking about strong winds, the most typical mistakes are about chaos, moment of really high stress, where you don't have the time to think. So the more you live these moments, the more you train it for the next time. Your time reaction is less and less. So I think that's important.
For me, moving on after a bad race is very important because it's very difficult for athletes like me to finish a bad race and then say, okay, and the next race I'm going to do better. I won't do the same mistakes as now. And for me, it's like my coach said, Juan, you have to move on to look to the future because also if you are in a in a bad position on the results, you cannot be worry about a result because many times you are like, okay, I have done so bad. In the next race I'm going to do worse, and that's not the point. The point is maybe you have to be focused on the next race. Always focus on the next race because you have to talk with your coaches also because the things can change into one race to another. Like maybe one side is better in one race and then in the other is better the other side. But it's very important to be able of moving on next to after a bad race.
Okay, thank you so much. I really like this way of thinking.
You're welcome.
So the next question was by Bernard. Do you want to join us again, Bernard, and ask your question?
Yeah, sure. So it's basically about the start. If there's strong winds, it's more difficult, I think, to stay on the line. You're drifting more, maybe also with the waves. What Paul is facing is that he's a bit afraid of going too close to the other boats because he's afraid to damage the other boats. So I was just wondering, is there something that you do differently when taking a start in strong winds?
In storm winds, I think it's very important to don't stop. It's like if the waves are pushing, you cannot stop. You have to be always moving. In a start, it's very important to be looking every side. You have to look at the committee, at the people, what is doing the fleet. It's very important to be awake. Like if there is more people on the pin end, you have to look at that, and then what you said about the waves are pushing a lot. You cannot stop there. You have to keep always moving. Look at the line. Look the people. Where are the people? If they are in front or behind. You have to be always looking every side, and don't be every time you have to be awake. I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
Yes, very clear. And I guess do you want to have also more space between boats than normally?
No, because it depends on the boat handling of each person, of course. But if you are comfortable with your boat handling, you don't have to keep more space with each other. In a fleet that is very high level, the people are not they don't leave more space because it's heavy winds. You have to always look at the other boats, but you don't have to be necessary more far away to the other boats. You have to always calculate the distance to the line because it's not the same calculating the distance in light winds and heavy winds. And you have to also think about the timing. You have to always look at the time and where are you next to the fleet. And also if there is like, ¿cómo se dice comba? Cuando hay comba. ¿Cómo se dice, Pablo? Sorry, it's one word I don't know how to say. Sorry.
How do you call the midline sag? How do you call
Yeah,
it?
a banana.
Line
A
sag,
banana.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
line sag. You have to to remind if the fleet is also behaving like a line sack, and very important the time. That for me is very important.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So next up we have Nuno. You want to ask your question, Nuno?
Yeah, okay. Hi, Marta and everyone. I was
Hi.
coming back a little bit about the sail trim, and you were talking about a lot of times of depowering the sail. So my question is, with the strong winds, what do you prioritize when you are trimming the sail? Is about the position of the sprit? Is the sail ties to adapt the luff curve to the mast? Or it's more on dynamic of playing the main sheet? And the other question was also about when you raise the center board. I remember like in the 470s, you start raising the center board and you ended up like almost with the position like reaching. But in the Optimist that it goes slowly, how much you ended up raising the center boards? Like 20 centimeters, 30 centimeters?
Okay, so
Can you tell us your secret?
going back to the depowering set, and I prioritize a lot the speed more than anything, because if you in my sail, if you trim good the speed, you change all the shape of the sail. So I also what I do first when it's heavy winds, I release speed, then the crease appears, but then I had a lot of left tension. Then I have a lot of kicker, and then it depends also on the waves that I keep the laugh on the outlook or not, and if I can keep that power on the top of the wave, and it depends a lot of that. And also what you said about the I don't know how to say, the center board. I raise it like four fingers maximum, only that. And I honestly don't use the center board a lot in that way. Only when it's very heavy, like I cannot do anything. I have to. It is survival model. So I raise the center board, but I use the center board up only on ride or die.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So next question is by Ivan. Ivan, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, so Marta, how do you how do you say this? How do you know before the race which side are you going to go?
When I preparing for the first race, I always go with a partner, and then we do like a rabbit, and then one goes to one side and other one goes to the another side. Maybe we're going to opposite sides like 2 minutes, then we tag, and then we see which one crossed before. Then if I have a lot of time, I go with more than one friend. I go like four people. We do also a rabbit. Then two people go to one side, but one stays going to the side, and then the other one tags on half time to see if when you're crossing, to see which one crossed before, to see which one crossed before and better. So sometimes it's very difficult because there are a lot of cast of or shifts, so it's more difficult to see the difference. But it's very important to
Uy.
I think the sound disappeared there.
Yeah.
Marta,
Yeah.
can you check your microphone, please? Can you ask in Spanish?
Yeah. Marta, creo que se te ha ido el volumen.
now.
No.
Sorry, sorry. My bad, my bad.
So what were you saying before it cut off? You were saying about the rabbit start with three more teammates.
So when I don't know when it didn't sound, but we go for people and then to go to opposite sides. Then the other two go to opposite sides also, but tag on half time. And then when the time is over, you see which one crosses. And sometimes it's very gusty or very shifty, so it's very much more difficult to see the difference. But you have to be always looking the mark if is there any change on the course, and you have to be always very awake.
Okay, so did that answer your question, Ivan?
Yes, thank you, Marta.
You're welcome.
Okay, and last question is by Almu. Are you here with us, Almu? Can you ask your question? Let's see. Wow.
Let's ask that question.
How do you get control of your nerves before a regatta?
That is a great question. Because I think you're all, most people are very nervous, but because of fear. But it's normal to have nervous or before a start. But when you have that sense, you have to think about, okay, I know how I sail. I'm comfortable with myself. I know I can do this. There's nothing to be worried about. I know what I'm going to do. I know which plan I'm going to follow. So you have to focus on that, because if you have trained that a lot, then when it goes the regatta, it doesn't change anything. That nerves only change your mindset of okay, if I do wrong. The thing is, when you have that sense, you have to think about, okay, I know I can do this. I have done a lot of times. I can do this. This is nothing new.
So
Thanks.
lots of good self-talk. What were you gonna say, Almu? Sorry for interrupting.
Thanks, Marta.
Pablo, I think that is one of the most engaging sessions we could have hoped for. We've had such fantastic questions, and thank you to so many different people from the audience throwing in questions. It takes us in such interesting directions. And I think it's a good illustration, Pablo, of the reason why what you're putting together with Ton is such a good idea. This cross-pollination of ideas from many different people. Just tell us about some of the other experts other than Marta and Juan that you're also talking to about bringing this course together.
Yes, so we have people very close to Juan and Marta. We have Jaime Ayarza, who's helping us develop the course. He was bronze at 2019 Worlds He's from Marta's club. But we also have other Spanish sailors like Maria Perello that won 3 worlds, Xavier Garcia that won Europeans. His brother is here. Roque is somewhere here. I saw him before. And we have also Swedish sailors and Henrik that won worlds, and Malcolm that was his sparring and also finished top 10 at worlds. And we're just getting all the knowledge possible and different points of views, because even for the same subject, as we've seen, there's many different ways, and the more points of view and opinions we have, I think the most full and complete course we can create. And that's what we're trying to achieve, to be able to have world-class knowledge from our houses.
And different countries, different places, even within the same country, have sometimes different ideas about how to approach these problems. And we had Nuno Barreto on earlier asking a question. I'd just like to bring Nuno back in again, Olympic bronze medalist in the 470. And Nuno, I know that you've been a fan of Road to Gold for a while. It's always a great honour for me and Hamish to have sailors that have achieved at the highest level take an interest in what we're doing. So what brings you to be interested in the Road to Gold Optimist edition?
Hi, Andy. I mean, what is bringing me back? First, I always like to learn more, and even at my age, I still think that every single day when I'm going out on the water or coming to a meeting like this is to try to learn something out of in the end of the day. And I felt that it was really good the first block of the Road to Gold, and now also being a parent of a young child starting in the Optimist, I'm trying to learn a little bit more about the Optimist and mentality and the approach of the sailors to this young age, the new way of learning how to sail. That I think is slightly different from the time that I learn how to sail, and keep updated. Most likely is to try to keep my focus and updated with the best that are sharing their knowledge.
Well, Nuno, nice to see you. Thanks very much for joining us today. And from one 470 great to another, Hamish Wilcox, what have you taken out of today's session?
Yeah, no, that's just one question, one offer of help. When my kids got into the Opti, and I'm happy to be wrong about this, Martha, so please help me with this. This is a while ago, but I remember we've talked a lot about the sprit and the kicker, the vang. What I used to do is set up, when he was small, my son Daniel was small. I think the rake number was 2226. I can't, it's a long time ago. But we would we would let the sprit off a little bit, so it's not really tight. And then we'd pull the main sheet on until the boom hit the transom.
Yes, exactly.
And then we'd pull the kicker, the boom vang, as tight as we could with the boom on the transom. And then we would let that go and then go forward, and then with a big powerful man like yourself, pull the sprit tight using the 2-to-1 purchase to get up against the vang, to get the luff really tight, like you couldn't put your finger through the luff pocket. And the boom vang, you could play it like a piano, like a guitar string, so it's very, very tight. And that's a really good way to set up for a good setup for young kids when they're starting.
I also think so.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks, Marta. It was a really good session. I'm the same as Nuno. I love to learn, and every time we have one of these Q&As, I learn a lot. So it was really impressive with your answers, everybody's questions as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Marta, before you go, and Juan, I'm always interested to know what you might have learned, because when you get asked to share your wisdom, Marta, is there anything that you've learned or taken away from talking about yourself today?
But I love to talk about these things with people and coaches from other countries, because when I say those things, maybe one person doesn't think the same as me, so we can talk with different opinions. So I can have a lot of more information that I could use.
Thank you. Well, that's great that it's working for you as well. And Juan, very quickly from you, great to have you join us today.
Yeah, I think that the most satisfying thing is that all of us, I think we think more or less in the same direction, and just small things different a sailor from another, and that's what really matters. The small details makes a great difference, I think.
There's been many small differences. I hope people have been taking notes, but we will also, I'm sure, be putting some notes together for everyone that was on the call as well. But also, I just love it, Marta, when you said hike or die. I just think that sums up so much of what we've heard about your attitude today. Hike or die. Thank you so much. Pablo, I'll leave the last word to you. What do people need to know about following up with this, and if they want to get on Road to Gold Optimist Edition, what do they do now?
Yes, so we're planning on hosting more Q&As. We still can't discuss the next guests because they're top secret, but we will be hosting more free calls like this one for people to gain knowledge from the best Opti sailors at the time, like Marta right now, or maybe some previous legends from the class. And apart from that, if anybody is interested, Ben dropped in the chat the beta link to join the course. And it's still in pieces. We're still putting it together, but we want the opinion of everyone to be able to put something that's highly useful. So if anybody's interested, the link is there. And just wanted to thank everybody for joining and for their time. It was super interesting, Marta and Juan. I learned lots. Really have to get that mentality to hike. And it will for sure also help me in the 470.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. Bye for now, and look
Bye.
forward to catching up with you soon.
Bye bye.